It seems like no matter where we go, we're always asked that one question every time.
When is your next Disney trip?
Okay, well, that. What is the second question we always seem to get asked?
How do you have time to plan all your vacations?
Exactly. Well, we're going to let you in on a little secret. We have a preferred travel agent, and her name is Hannah with a little bit of magic, and she is amazing.
And here's what we love about Hannah. She does all the hard work for you. She always knows the right times to book your vacation. From the first introductory call to presenting the proposal, she has the best recommendations for the best destinations.
From there, Hannah kept us on track with tips for our vacation, sending payment reminders, and followed up after our trip to make sure that we had an amazing experience.
If you're ready to book a relaxing getaway, contact Hannah. For more information, check out littlebitofmagic.com and make sure you mention that the Wonderful Thing About Disney podcast sent you.
Hi, I'm Jake.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is the Wonderful Thing About Disney podcast.
Because Disney's a wonderful thing. Come on down, stop on by, hop a carpet, and fly with us as we discuss the parks, treats, and all things Disney, with new episodes every wonderful Wednesday.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wonderful Wednesday, and we have got an amazing episode planned out with a special guest.
One that Jake has been really excited for.
Hey, I am fine with it. I have a man crush, and it's Sean Martin, who has an amazing Instagram account, which is how we ultimately met. But Sean, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. It's awesome to be here. I was withholding my laughing at the man crush. That is good stuff.
Hey,
I'm okay with it.
so I think we need to talk about this very briefly because Instagram is such a strange place, but it's also
It
incredible
is.
that you can make friends and grow a community. But you have like the coolest Instagram account I've ever seen, and I just happened to come across it. But Plants of
Thank you.
Disneyland, you just talk about what plants are in the park, and I am totally enthralled with it, like absolutely fascinated.
It's interesting how it kind of came about, and that actually kind of brings me to how exactly it came about. My wife and I, we work in the TV and film industry, and
Awesome.
we happen to come back home from working on a show, and we'd all decided to go to Disneyland. And she has a lot of sisters, so the whole
Okay.
family is there, and they start saying, "Hey, maybe we should start Instagram since we're, kind of in between our shows that we're working on." And it just clicked. We were sitting at the Red Rose Tavern right outside where all the tables are. And I'm like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I like plants. I love Disney. I'm a Disney freak. Let me
Love
just
it.
teach people about the plants and trees around the park. It was like a no brainer. And I was like, aha moment. I got up from the table. I walked over to where the sword and the stone is, and right
Yes.
there is where I took my very first picture for the account. And they happen to have some really beautiful purple flowers, and I'm kind of forgetting what they were called, but I just took this picture, pointed right at the castle with the flowers in the foreground, and it just kind of went on from there. And it just seemed like the right thing to do. And it's
Yeah.
been a creative outlet that I've needed for a while because I kind of have like too many things I'm interested in. But it made sense to kind of combine two of them and kind of, kill two birds with one stone, and kind of do something different. And
Yeah.
there are people that have done this before. There is another Plants of Disneyland out there. Shout out to them.
Ooh,
But I
interesting.
don't think
Okay.
they've touched their account since 2016. So
Wow.
I don't even know if it's if it's a thing that they do anymore or what. Um, but I was happy to take up the torch, even though I kind of forcefully took it, I suppose, and kind of just run with it and see where it would take me. And it's been amazing.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. This little Disney community of Instagram people, content creators, so on and so forth, they've all been so incredibly supportive. And I guess I could speak for you guys because we're all kind of in that sphere. everybody was so excited and so supportive and was like, "Oh my God, this is a great idea. Nobody's ever done this before. I'm so interested in this." So it's been very positive and really, really
Love it.
cool.
That's so
Yeah.
great.
No, I love, we were, I mean, I think when you guys first connected is we were on a trip at Disneyland and I'm walking and Jake's like, hang on a second. And I turn around and he's filming a reel outside of Haunted Mansion. And I was like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And he's like, no,
I
I'm going to find
remember
out
it.
what plant this is. And I was like, okay. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Well, and it kind of reminded me like the difference between men and women. Like women have to like interact and know each other for years before they'll ever consider themselves friends, right? And I'm already referring to you as my
So
friend
true.
Sean
It's
because
true.
I'm like, no, like I messaged him on Instagram and he hit me back. Like
We're
that's
friends.
my best buddy now.
I
Amazing.
joke with some other creators on Instagram that I live in the mountains. I have a wife. I have two kids. I like gardening. Clearly, I don't have friends. So, this is this is kind of my way into having friends, even though it's kind of semi at a distance. But the great thing about that is a lot of creators end up seeing each other at Disneyland
Yeah.
and having these little moments of meeting one another or talking and socializing and getting to know one another in person and not just on social media. So it's been a really, really cool way for Disney fans, content creators alike to kind of get together and have this little web of communication.
Yeah,
Love it.
for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
So let's get into some questions because I think we have some questions for
Sure.
you. So
Oh
all
my
of
God, I'm
our
nervous. No, I'm kidding.
no, you're good. So all of our special guests, we like to ask them like, what's your Disney origin story? Like, how did you fall in love with Disney?
That's fairly easy. I think it was kind of a mix of my mom, my nana, and my aunt.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All three of them. They were into Disney when they were little. Maybe not as much as I am now, but it was definitely there. So they kind of started me on that. My mom was recording classic Disney movies on VHS from, whatever cable was coming on or 1 through 13. That is how old I am. So here I am dating myself a little bit,
Right.
but
No,
I
you
would
kids that
I
are
would
listening at home, that's how we used to watch movies
It's true.
was
yes.
VHS
It's
tapes.
true.
Yes, yes. We did not just stream them. We had to wait for things to come on. I remember having a TV guide
Oh
and
yeah.
having to look through
Yep.
that and to know which show was coming on when. But either way,
Yep.
my mom and my aunt and my grandma, they would record stuff for me. And I had all of the Star Wars recorded at home on VHS. I had the
Yes.
Nice.
Disney classics recorded at home on VHS. So I watched that stuff religiously from when I was very, very young and even into my teen years. I would watch those VHSs.
Love it.
Amazing.
Those were my at-home sick day things to watch.
Yep.
My guilty
Yep.
pleasures.
Yep.
I didn't care what my friends thought. I was watching Robin Hood, Sword in the Stone, and Jungle Book, and Alice in Wonderland, and Peter Pan on
Yes.
my sick
I was
days.
like, he is speaking your language. Like, oh my gosh.
That's why I'm
Man
having
crush.
Yeah.
right. No, seriously, this
Yeah.
is my mater moment. I'm like, I made a good choice choosing my best friend.
My
That's my
best
guy.
buddy.
That's right.
So we kind
Totally.
of got into a little bit about how you started the Instagram account, but we've got your Disney origin story. Where did your love of plants come from? Because the botany world is enormous, but you seem
It
very
is.
knowledgeable, and you mentioned that you do this in your outside Disney life as well. So tell us a little bit about the plant side of you.
It's all a lie. I'm a total fraud. No, I'm kidding. Um, the love of plants actually did kind of come from my nana, my mom's mom.
Nice.
Awesome.
She
Yeah.
kind of got me into the garden a little bit here and there at a pretty early age. But then when I became more of an adult, we started to bond even more over plants and birds and things of that nature. That was like kind of our little thing for us to bond over.
Awesome.
So
So
cool.
that kind of took off. And, the more I started to look around the world and look more at nature, that kind of became stronger and stronger of an
Yeah.
interest, especially once I moved up to the mountains, because I was actually kind of born and raised in the San Fernando Valley. But I moved up to the mountains here in Southern California. And once I moved up here, I think that again became even stronger. That noticing of what's around me, kind of getting more in tune with nature. I know that's kind of a cliche, but it's very true. Once you are thrusted into it,
Yeah.
and you become more observant of what's around you, those interests start to kind of pop up, and the tribal knowledge starts to, pop up and just become a thing. So that's kind of where that happened. But I don't know. I've just had a fascination with plants for many years, and I think more in my adult years, it started when I came across white sage.
Okay.
Oh,
White sage
okay.
is a very, very special and sacred plant, especially within the native cultures
Yeah.
on this
Yeah.
continent. It's a ceremonial plant. It's a sacred plant to them, and I like to say that it found me instead of me finding it. So now I actually grow it here in my front yard for
That's
myself,
awesome.
and
So
I would
cool.
love to work on some conservation for the plant because it's semi-endangered.
Okay.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, so that's kind of where that
That's
sparked.
awesome.
And yeah, like I said, once we were at Disneyland that one day and it was time to start an Instagram, it was a no-brainer.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, okay, speaking of Instagram though, like tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about your platform. Like when you go to Disneyland, like how do you decide what you're going to take maybe a video of, or like do you identify the plants maybe ahead of time? Just like tell us about your platform and your thought process through everything.
Yeah. Uh, you actually hit on all of the notes right there. It is more of
Great.
a process. Unfortunately for me personally, because I am still learning, I am not a botanist whatsoever. And that's actually in my little disclaimer. If anybody looks under my posts, I do have a little disclaimer. This was not only a way for me to teach people things, but it was a way for me to teach myself. It was a
I
way
love
for
that.
Awesome.
me to learn more about, the plant world and and the tree world and things of that nature, because we're all still learning. We're all learning
Yeah.
something new every day, and especially when it comes to plants, like you said, it is this giant world
Yeah.
of nature knowledge, so on and so forth. I mean, the ficus family of trees has over 800 species. So
Incredible.
just that alone
Great.
is enough to make your brain explode. Um, so I think I got off track there, but as far as like the process is concerned, a lot of people when they're creating content, they're doing a vlog or they're
Mhm.
doing
Yeah.
something kind of,
Yeah.
off the cuff. This for me, because I want to make sure people are getting the right information as much as possible. I have a little bit more of a process where I like to do the research on stuff before I just put something out.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to make sure I've got it right, or I want to make sure that I've learned something cool that I can teach everyone, something that's a little unique or a special fact that maybe somebody didn't know before that
Yeah.
they might want to share with someone else. And
That's awesome.
yeah, so that's kind of been a little bit of the
I
process.
love it.
And that is also the cool thing that I've received back, in the form of feedback from friends and followers, is that now they're going around with their families and their kids and they're saying, hey, do you know what this tree is? Do you know what this plant is? I learned that from this guy. So it's been this very rewarding, positive
Yeah.
feedback, you
Yes.
know?
Well, that's
Yeah,
exactly what I did is I shared it with people. I
Yeah.
shared it with you and some
Yeah.
other friends and I was like, who knew? Because everything that they do in the parks as far as theming and everything, it's so intentional. And that's down to the plants that
absolutely.
they choose.
Hmm.
And having built the park in California and then also over in Florida, I mean, being
Yeah.
able to bring in plants from outside
Hmm.
and especially when animals are involved, when we think about like Animal Kingdom,
I was thinking that, yeah.
there's a lot more to it
100%.
because you've got to think of not only what looks good, but does it fit the climate and does it
Yeah.
fit the ecosystem and the animals that are around? But
100%.
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like what a cool playground for you to do this in
Yes,
Yeah.
because there's just so much and
absolutely.
it's ever changing. But do you stick primarily to Disneyland or have you also gone and explored Disney World as well?
Um, uh, Actually, we had just returned home from a trip at Walt Disney World, our first and
Okay.
only trip, literally right before I started this account, the Instagram
Wow.
account.
Okay.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
Nice.
and it just so happened that they were doing the flower festival. I can't
Oh,
remember exactly
awesome.
what the
The
For the
name
flower
is.
flower and
garden.
While,
garden. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yep.
exactly. They were doing that while we were there. So that was very interesting to see. But I have to say, this will kind of tie into your question. Disney World is so massive
Yeah.
that
Yes.
the landscaping and how it's done, not that it's bad, it's different than Disneyland.
Okay.
It
Okay.
seems to be uh more decoration than really part of the landscape like it is at Disneyland.
Hmm.
And
Makes sense.
you said
Yeah.
intentional. When they are doing the landscaping and or they did the landscaping design and when they, change things in the park, it is incredibly intentional. It
Hmm.
has theming, uh, especially at places like the Haunted Mansion. That is probably the most intentional landscaping and gardening design that they have in the park, and they really tend to put things there in the grounds that kind of match the theming of what's around it,
Hmm.
like the little animal statues, the little gravestones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen next to the cat, they've actually had catnip, which is a real plant. They've had catnip growing
Interesting.
around the cat. They've had vegetables growing around the rabbit because rabbits, they go
Hmm.
in your vegetable garden and they
That's
eat your
legit.
That's
vegetables.
That's
amazing.
awesome.
That's so cool.
Absolutely. They've done plenty of things like that. And now that they have the new queue that they've designed,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
expanded queue for the Haunted Mansion, it's even more intentional. There's even
Wow.
more plants in there that are, carnivorous looking or creepy looking.
That's
They
awesome.
really set that tone with various plants just because they happen to have that look or that aesthetic. It's really, really interesting, and it amazes me every time I go there. It's
That's
just so
So
awesome.
cool.
cool.
That's awesome.
So, to go back to your question, I've only done Disneyland so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that I'll expand into anything else, but that is because I am just a Disneyland OG freak.
Yep.
Him too. Him too.
Super fan.
My
Yeah.
guy.
So, okay, do you have a favorite plant in Disneyland? And if so, where can we find it?
Yeah.
And why is it your favorite?
That's a two-part answer.
Okay.
Originally, it was white sage because they did have
Yes.
some there.
Hmm.
Okay. Of
I
course.
just went there recently and it's gone.
Oh,
No.
So, and that's
that's
okay. But to be honest with you, maybe it's for the better because people do have a tendency to take advantage of that plant,
Oh,
and destroy it or try to take some or what
yeah.
have you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe that's why they took it out. I'm not sure. But the second part answer is the Disneyland rose. That
Okay,
Oh,
yep,
is
yeah.
my
yep.
that is my favorite plant at Disneyland now. My favorite actual plant. Um, I don't know if trees are actually considered a plant. They might just, be in a whole different class of botany. But I will tell you, my favorite tree is the ficus that is at the teacups.
I know that one. That
Oh,
tree is
yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
It is
So
cool, and
That's,
cool.
yeah.
I'll give you guys and the listeners a little bit on that tree. Um, it is believed to have actually been at the park for a very long time, if not since day one.
Okay.
That tree was originally where Dumbo currently is. It was on the
Okay.
left-hand side of
Yep.
I'm
Oh,
sorry, the left-hand
yeah.
side of the Dumbo ride. So in
Okay.
1983, when they changed Fantasyland, where Dumbo sits now, there used to be a Chicken of the Sea, Captain Hook pirate ship
Yes.
themed restaurant.
Yep.
And to the left of
Mm.
that was that tree. So
Okay.
they actually uprooted that tree, dug it out of the ground, boxed it up, and transported it and
Oh my
transplanted
God.
it there where the teacups are
That's
now.
I
awesome.
love
So
it.
it's a pretty old one. It's been around a
Yeah.
while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, jumping ahead a little bit, we have some tree trivia for you, Sean. Like we came
Oh
prepared.
no.
We have some
But
trivia.
I told you I'm a fraud. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
no. This is good. This
I
is
will do my
perfect.
best. I will do
And
my
your fun
best.
fact leads right into this. So, three
Okay.
questions here for you. So, the
Oh
first one
no.
is, what is the oldest tree, quote unquote, native to Disneyland Park, or one of the first trees that was started in Disneyland?
It is the tree. Well, yes. That's kind of an interesting one because there's actually two trees that are very old in Disneyland.
Okay.
The one that is, if you want to say native, a tree that was actually there from the get-go, it's the Dominguez palm.
You
And
got
Yes.
that's the
it.
tree.
Yes.
You got it.
He's the
Yeah,
real
that's
deal,
the tree.
people.
Not a
Well,
fraud.
I
Not a
try.
fraud.
I try. Yes, that is the oldest not a native tree because the tree is actually not native to the area. When
Yeah.
you
Right.
say native,
Right.
that means that it's originally from that area,
Yeah.
but it was there on the property
Yep.
before they built Disneyland,
Yep.
and there is a lot of
I
backstory to that.
not a
Um,
fraud, people. Not a fraud.
not a fraud, not a fraud. But I will say the second answer is the oldest living tree in Disneyland is actually it's the little bonsai pine that's on the Storybook Land ride.
That
That was
was
it. That's question number three. This is amazing.
And
They tell you
I can't
never meet your
remember.
heroes, people. Pick better
Oh,
heroes. My
there you
guy
go.
delivered. Okay. No, this is
That's funny.
amazing. You totally took our third question about the bonsai tree, but we do have to talk about the Dominguez palm really quick because we have some
Sure,
backstory and
sure.
we want to verify if what
yeah.
we've heard
Yes.
is
It's
what
the
you've
truth.
Okay.
heard. So
Yeah,
the
let's do
Dominguez
it.
family palm was given to the Dominguez family when they got married. And when Walt wanted to buy the land, one of their wishes was to keep the tree alive, which they have, and they've actually moved the tree several times. So currently, it's behind the old Indiana Jones Fast Pass distribution location between Jungle Cruise and Indy.
Yes, the current location you mentioned is correct.
Cool.
I
Nice.
have heard a very, very slight variation on
Okay.
your story. The
Okay.
only variation that I've heard is that the tree is older than from what I understand, it wasn't planted when the Dominguez family was married. It was actually planted much longer before that
Okay.
or
Okay.
further back than that.
Okay.
From
Yeah.
what I've heard is that multiple family members within the Dominguez family had
Okay.
been married under that tree.
Got
And
it.
Ooh, I
so
like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
it held obviously some major family
Yeah,
significance and
absolutely.
sentiment.
Yeah. That's
But
so
yes, I
I love
cool.
believe
it.
I,
Your face.
I do believe one of the deal points for Walt getting that land to build
Right.
Disneyland on was that they would keep the tree
Oh, I love that.
and keep it going. So yes, it
Right.
was moved, and apparently that was a major feat of construction and
Oh, I can only
engineering to actually
imagine.
get that palm moved. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't that big at the time. I'm sure it might have been more like half of its size in 1955,
But
maybe even three
still.
quarters of the size, but it's a big tree.
Yeah.
It is no
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
wild. Okay, so you
for
already
sure.
named the oldest living tree in Disneyland Park, which is the bonsai trees
hmm
around Storybook Canal, which again is crazy. How about the oldest tree in Disneyland?
The bonsai tree is the oldest living tree in
Okay,
Disneyland.
what if it's not
That's still
living?
alive.
Yeah, just the
Oh, it's
oldest
the
tree.
petrified tree.
You got it.
3 for 3. 3 for 3. The legend.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. But and
Incredible.
if I'm not mistaken, I even
Incredible.
I had to do some research on that. I've asked around about that. They don't really know what type of tree it is, but
Yeah,
they
Oh,
believe
interesting.
it might be a redwood or a sequoia.
yeah.
Oh.
So what we had as background is that that petrified tree is located on the banks of rivers of America, right by the popcorn
Yes.
cart, in case anybody like us is looking for snacks.
Yeah.
But that was actually a gift from Walt to his wife, Lillian, after a trip to Colorado in 1956. And then she gave it to the parks or wanted to keep it displayed in the park. So
That
three
sounds
for
accurate to
three,
me.
man. 3 for 3 for not a tree guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing.
well, you know what? The trees specifically, I'm still learning a lot about because trees
Sure.
can be very, very hard to identify
Yeah.
Yeah.
and get some kind of, chronology on it. So luckily I've been able to meet some very nice people that work within the Disneyland organization and formally for Disneyland that have been some awesome sources of information, I have to say. So
That's
shout out to
awesome.
That's
them. You know who you are.
that's so
Great.
awesome.
Well, and then a little bonus fact is that we learned as we were doing our research that many of the trees that are currently in Disneyland were actually transplanted from when they built Interstate 5, just right
You know
next
what?
door.
That was actually part of some of my notes that I was gonna, bestow onto you guys. So you got it. You actually got it. That is correct. Um, Bill and Jack Evans were two brothers that were basically responsible for the landscape design at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Um, Bill did a lot of traveling the world in the military, if I'm not mistaken, back in the days before Disneyland, obviously, and he amassed this incredible collection of plants, seeds, so on and so forth, that he actually brought here to Southern California. We actually can see a lot of his work across Southern California that's still there,
Amazing.
but
Yeah.
Walt used him to do the landscaping at their home around his
Oh,
miniature train track, and
oh, yeah.
then
So cool.
ended up
Yeah.
using him for Disneyland. Um, but
Okay.
and
Sure.
I can't remember where I was going with that, but either way, oh, he is the one who actually started the project of salvaging the trees that were being uprooted and removed for the construction of the freeways so they could use them at Disneyland. Because Walt
Amazing.
wanted trees that were as full grown as possible. So it looked like they had been
Yeah.
growing there for,
The whole
years and
time.
years. And the only way to
That's so
do that
awesome.
was to really go out there and find them. They even offered Southern California residents here and there
Hmm.
$500 or more to actually remove the trees from their properties, the full grown trees, so they could take them to
Amazing.
Disneyland.
Which I
Yeah.
believe at the time was quite the feat. I mean, that's a lot of
Yeah.
work even
Yes.
today, but at
Yeah.
the time is mind-blowing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And they did all of the landscaping at Disneyland. Now, mind you, it was much less than it is now, but they did all of the landscaping at Disneyland in less than a year.
That's
Oh, wow.
insane. Insane.
Wow.
Mind-blowing.
Absolutely insane.
So, have you ever thought about working for Disney, like in the horticulture, or have you ever, I guess, just thought of working for Disney doing something else?
It kind of deep down inside, that's always kind of been that little, dream of mine, if you will. I think almost every Disney fan kind of has that thought in their head or that
For
that
sure.
little glimmer
Yes.
of
Yes.
hey, it would be so amazing and a dream come true to work for Disney. Um, the horticulture people, they work really hard.
Oh, I'm
They
Oh, I'm
sure.
really
sure.
do. They work really hard and they have those nighttime hours. And I'd have to say, I am in bed by the time they start working. So that would probably not
Yes.
be my cup of tea.
I
But
love it.
to be able to talk to people that work in that
Yeah.
field and get information from them, learn from them, or maybe even kind of work in like a landscaping kind of
Yeah,
sector, that would be really cool, and that would definitely be quite the adventure.
I
That's
love
so
that.
awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, another thing about you, you're also a very talented photographer. So, you have
Oh,
an
thank you.
additional Instagram page that showcases some of your photography. So, tell us a little bit about Merlin's Magic Lens.
You know what? Thank you for bringing it up. I appreciate that. It it was just kind of out of the want to kind of put more than just plants out there because I'm not just a plant guy. Obviously, I love all of Disneyland. I love all of Disney. So this was just kind of another creative outlet for me to post other photography that I do that I take of just random things around the park. And I think that's kind of a little bit more my vibe. A lot of
Sure.
people that do photography at the park, they do the quintessential things, taking pictures of, the characters on the rides or the
Hmm.
characters in the park or the buildings or, what have you, landscape style pictures. And although I do a lot of that on the Plants of Disneyland account, I kind of enjoy finding things that people don't normally notice around the park or a viewpoint or something that people wouldn't normally look at and kind of bring that out and bring it to people so they can enjoy it. So
Yeah.
that's what Merlin's Magic Lens is all about. And of course, Merlin is my favorite Disney character. So
One of his
Yes.
I
favorites.
just
I love it.
I had to go with it. And it took me a little while to come up with that name actually.
It's a good one, though.
It's a
It's a
great
good
one.
one.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So this has been awesome. I guess tell everybody where they can find you on Instagram or any socials that you have.
Instagram is my primary. That's kind of my go-to. That's kind of home.
Yeah.
I do have a Facebook account. I am just not sure how often a lot of the content gets transferred over to
Yeah.
Facebook because I think it's a little spotty.
Yeah.
But I do have a YouTube channel, quote unquote. There's only one episode on there that I posted a year ago. I've been slacking a little bit.
It's a good one, though. Like, it was
Thank
really
you.
fun to watch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I do plan on, doing some more videos on there from time to time. Long form video of content like this. I tend to be a perfectionist and I tend to take a long time on it. And it does require a lot of research and prep to make those videos. So that's another reason why episode two just hasn't shown up yet. But need thou not be afraid, everyone. It is coming. No worries
Nice.
whatsoever. And it is Plants at Disneyland on YouTube. And but yeah, Instagram is kind of my main home for now.
Love it.
Awesome.
Well, you guys make
Yeah.
sure that you give our friend Sean a shout out and a follow on Plants of Disneyland. Not only is the content beautiful and really interesting, but you're going to learn some amazing things as well. I know you've started bringing your kids on too, which has been just super fun. Such a great follow. And Sean, we are so happy to have you. Thank you for sharing your story with us and telling us a little
Thank you
bit
for
more
having
about what you're
me.
doing.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you'll see Jake on there too. I'm sure you guys will meet up at the parks at
Yeah,
some
we
point.
will. It'll be
Oh, it's
great.
gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
gonna happen. We're gonna have a shared content day, something like that, to give people
love it.
something a little extra and a little special.
I
Can't
love it.
wait.
That's it for this week's episode. Don't forget to rate our show on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our t-shirt shop, Shop Threads of Imagination. Subscribe to support our show on Patreon. And until next wonderful Wednesday, TTFN.